Hello, my students. Today I'm going to teach you how and why grammar is preventing you from speaking English fluently. Also, make sure you stay till the end because I'm going to show you a secret strategy that you can use every week to reach fluency. Alrighty, now we're ready. For this example, sugar will represent grammar. Coffee will represent phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs. And water will represent idioms. Modismos. Idioms. What a lot of teachers and courses do is that they put a lot of attention on grammar. And this is not good because this is like making a cup of coffee with mostly sugar. No. When we do that, you're learning grammar, past participle, the future tense. Look at all this sugar. And so then you want to put a little bit of phrasal verbs. Just a little bit of coffee in there, right? Because phrasal verbs is the coffee. And so what you have is a cup of coffee, or in this case, a dynamic or a strategy that is focused only on grammar and only a little bit on idioms, the water, and only a little bit on the phrasal verbs. And the result is this. The key to fluency is having a strategy that is focused mainly on phrasal verbs. Gotta buy more coffee. Phrasal verbs, idioms, and only a touch. A touch is another way of saying a little bit when it comes to like salt or sugar. A touch of grammar. Some people like more sugar. You want a little more grammar? That's fine. But it can't be the focus. I have to microwave the coffee before drinking it, because if not, it's... The result is an amazing English strategy. A little bit of grammar, the sugar, nice amount of coffee, phrasal verbs, and a nice amount of idioms, the water. Yeah. All right, now it's time for me to give you your secret weekly fluency strategy. Okay, for this one, we're going to get started with grammar. All right, and with grammar, we're going to focus on the structure. You wouldn't have wanted. You wouldn't have wanted is a structure we use to show relief. Wow, I'm so happy that I didn't make that decision or that I didn't go to that event, for example. So a few sentence examples of I wouldn't have wanted to, which is the structure, the grammar that we're going to put into your weekly strategy for this week, will be, for example, trust me, you wouldn't have wanted to go to that concert. The music was terrible, right? So you're like, whew, I'm happy I didn't go. Another sentence example. You wouldn't have wanted to go to that meeting. It was terrible. A third example. You wouldn't have wanted to eat that because everyone got sick. All right, now that you have your structure, let's go with the coffee, phrasal verb. And for this strategy, we're going to learn 2, but you can learn more than 2. You can learn 3 or 4 or 5. But for this video, we'll focus on 2. The first one is going to be iron out. Now, iron out means to resolve. Typically, you're looking for a solution. So an example would be, let's iron out the details at the meeting tomorrow. I have my notes here, but you have it here. So let's iron out the details. And iron is a plancha. So imagine like the wrinkles, the wrinkles of a shirt, las arrugas. No, arrugas no se dice en español. arrugado, las arrugas de una camisa. You're ironing out the wrinkles, the problems. You're solving it. That's one phrasal verb. The second phrasal verb is going to be sign off on, which means to approve, aprobar. So, for example, the manager signed off on completing the project. So he gave us permission to complete the project. All right, you have your phrasal verbs, you have your structure. Now we need our water, idioms. For this one, I'm going to also give you 2 idioms, but you can put more idioms into this weekly strategy. And of course, you want to change it every week. That's the idea. So the next idioms are talk shop. Talk shop means to talk about business or about work, but when you're not at work. So we all have a friend who likes to talk about their job or about business when you're at dinner or at a party or something. Well, that's someone who likes to talk shop. So an example would be, he always likes to talk shop when we go out. The second idiom is going to be to seal the deal, sellar el trato, por así decirlo. And that means to conclude a negotiation successfully. So let's make sure we seal the deal after this meeting, to seal the deal. So now you have a total of 1 structure, 2 phrasal verbs, the coffee, and 2 idioms. As I said, I recommend that you have at least 4 or 5 idioms and 4 or 5 phrasal verbs and 1 structure. This is step 1. Now, this is the most important part, my students. And for this, I highly recommend you use ChatGPT. You can see the website up here. They have a free version. You can use the free version. And what we're going to do, I'm going to leave you exactly the text that you're going to use every single week to formulate your plan. And that's this one right here. We're going to ask them, I'm going to zoom in, create a story. By the way, ChatGPT is like a supercomputer robot that if you tell it to do something, it will do it for you. It's amazing. If you're not using it, use it. Now, create a story. I'm telling ChatGPT to create a story where they use a structure, the phrasal verbs, and idioms. The reason we're using a story is because you're already learning it directamente, right? You're learning the phrasal verb, the structure, the idioms. You need that. That's one way of learning. But another way of learning, and it's very important, is indirectly, indirectamente. And for that, our minds function best with stories, historias. So here you're going to put the structure. You wouldn't have wanted to, right? And then maybe entre comillas, you can specify what you're talking about to show that you are happy you didn't make a decision in the past. The more specific, the better. Now, for your phrasal verbs, we're going to put the 2 phrasal verbs that we learned. But again, I recommend you get at least 5 per week. So our phrasal verbs were to iron out, remember, which means to resolve, and to sign off on, which means to approve, right? For the idioms, you're going to put the idioms to talk shop and to seal the deal. Now, this part is very important. You have to make sure you ask it to use each phrase and structure twice, dos veces. The more the better. You can even put 3 times if you want. And make sure the key phrases and structure are in bold, letra negrita. Once you do that, this is going to be amazing, my students. Check this out. ChatGPT is going to create a story for you. And it is going to include the phrasal verbs, the idioms, and the structure that you chose. What you're going to do is, at the end of the week, you're going to read this every single day, right? So make sure that you create the story with the phrasal verbs and the idioms, and every single day for 1 week you read it. if you do this every single week, at the end of the month, you will have learned many phrasal verbs, many idioms, and 4 different structures. Remember, the grammar is supposed to be a little bit, not a lot. So, como repaso, don't only focus on grammar. Grammar is like sugar. You want to make sure you put a little bit in each lesson. Your main focus should be on phrasal verbs, the coffee, and on idioms, the water. I hope you enjoyed this YouTube English lesson, my students. I'm actually a little nervous because I haven't posted a YouTube video in a long time. I used to put a lot of YouTube videos before, but I got demotivated. I lost motivation because I was too focused on the subscriber amount and on the likes, and I just lost my motivation. But I want to start again, and so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna keep posting videos, even if I don't get subscribers, even if I don't get likes, because I know you guys need to learn English. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, go ahead and like the video, but that's up to you if you really like them, my students. Love you all. That's all for now. See you next time.